90% of players lose 1v4 fights for one simple reason: weak game sense. Most people think if their 1v1 aim is strong, they can easily clutch a squad. But that's the biggest mistake. Winning a 1v1 and clutching a 1v4 are completely different things. Watch this video till the end, and you'll understand the exact decisions behind winning impossible fights. From 2018 to 2026, from PUBG to BGMI, the game has changed a lot. You've probably seen players who started as complete noobs, but today play better than everyone else. Not because they have better aim, but because their game sense improved. If your game sense is weak, you'll never truly dominate the game. So welcome to the world of Zevtrax, where legends are made, not noobs. In this video, I'm going to show you some of my 1v4 clutches, but I'm not just showing them. I'll break down every decision so you understand the real game sense behind these fights. But you have to promise one thing: whatever you learn here, you'll practice it in your matches. Because you might fail 100 times, but every failure teaches you something. So watch carefully, understand the decisions, and apply them in your own gameplay. Now, let's get into the first 1v4 clutch. Before I explain anything, watch this 1v4 clutch carefully. Watch the fight first, then come back, because now I'll break down the decisions behind it. Here's what happened. I was rotating in a buggy when I spotted a player getting into a car right at the end of the bridge. I switched to the back seat and started shooting. I even landed a headshot, but he didn't get knocked, so I realized he was trying to regroup with his teammates. So I chased him. When I got closer, I saw his teammates in the area, but the entire place was open. Fighting there would be risky, so I moved to a nearby spot with cover and waited to understand their positions. A few seconds later, two players pushed towards me in a coupe. I opened fire and they quickly turned the car around. Right after that, another player climbed onto a rock to fight me. I knocked him, then eliminated another enemy on my left who was holding an angle. That's when I decided to push. I drove closer and stopped behind a rock for cover. From there, I saw a player on the left reviving his teammate, but at the same time, another enemy on the right was moving around trying to find me, so I eliminated him first. By the time I finished him, the revive was done, but I instantly sprayed both players and wiped the entire squad. This clutch worked because I avoided an open fight, tracked enemy positions, and eliminated the biggest threat first. That's the real power of game sense. Before I explain this fight, watch the 1v3 clutch first. Watch the full clip, then come back, because I'll break down exactly what happened. This fight started right after I landed in Pochinki. I was looting when I suddenly heard footsteps. At first it sounded like 2 players, but when I listened carefully I realized there were actually 3 enemies pushing my house. I was holding the 2nd floor, so I took a grenade and threw it towards the staircase. The nade landed perfectly and knocked 1 player. Just as I expected, one teammate immediately started reviving him right below me, while the third player stayed near the stairs watching in case I pushed. Instead of using the stairs, I made a different play. I jumped through the window and shot inside the room from that angle, instantly eliminating the player who was doing the revive. At that moment, the player who was watching the stairs tried to move outside to fight me. So I quickly ran outside from the opposite side, caught him while he was coming out, and dealt heavy damage. Then I immediately went back inside and started pre-firing through the window and the door so he couldn't push again. That forced him to back off and move outside. I quickly checked the door he escaped through, but he was holding the angle. Pushing blindly would give him the advantage, so I didn't force it. Instead, I went back upstairs and waited. A few seconds later, I heard the healing sound. That was my moment. Jumped through the window again, I caught him while he was healing and finished him, curing the 1v3 clutch. Clutch worked because I predicted the revive, attacked from an unexpected angle, and waited for the perfect timing instead of rushing the fight. Before I explain this fight, watch the 1v4 clutch first. Watch the clip, then come back. I was moving near the school apartments when another squad vehicle suddenly came from the opposite front towards me. They passed me and went behind while I continued straight, so I honked and baited them to chase me. Then I drove into a compound in front of the apartments and stopped there. My plan was to hook a grenade and try to damage them as they pushed, but by the time the nade landed, they had already spread out. So I climbed onto the rooftop and started firing at them. They gave me some damage, so I stopped fighting in the open and started playing around cover. One enemy pushed close to the wall on my right side, so I cooked a grenade and threw it there, knocking him. Another player had moved into a house on the left side. I tried to get him with 2 grenades, but the timing was slightly late, so they didn't connect. Then I expected someone to come for the revive, so I jumped down from the rooftop. By the time I reached there, the revive had just finished, and 2 players were running together. I sprayed and knocked both of them instantly. Another enemy jumped into the fight, and I continued the spray and took him down as well. The last player tried to rotate around me, but I kept using cover, shooting, going back to cover, and peeking again. And that's how I finished the last player and secured the 1v4 clutch. This worked because I forced them into bad positions with grenades and kept using cover instead of fighting them in the open. So that's how these clutches happened. If you noticed carefully, it wasn't just aim, it was positioning, timing, and predicting what the enemy would do next. That's what real game sense looks like. If you start thinking like this in your matches, even 1v3 or 1v4 fights will slowly become easier. And this is just the beginning. More clutch breakdowns and strategies are coming soon, so stay connected, because this is the world of Zevtrax. Legends are made, not noobs.